Hey, everyone.
Hey, people. Welcome back to Enter the Abyss with Britain.
And Cleet.
All right.
We all know you want to hear our voices.
You've been waiting for this all week. We know you have been. I've been waiting for this all week. So I posted something on Facebook earlier this week that was another milestone for Enter the Abyss.
Yeah.
We hit 1,500 listens, and this doesn't count YouTube, so we're definitely past that. But again, you guys are absolutely incredible. Thanks for tuning in every week. We definitely could not have gotten here without you.
I don't even know how many YouTube views we really have. I know our Skinwalker Ranch is the most popular one by far.
Yeah. And then, it's like 150 something. The next one's probably like 40. It's like a huge dip.
I was sort of looking at the analytics there. The second most popular episode, at least last month, was our Reddit episode, which was pretty cool.
I'm just glad we got those back.
Yeah.
I was pretty sad when we had to take those.
I love those episodes.
They're really fun to do because it's people's stories from all around the world, and you get some crazy experiences.
And you can make fun of them.
Yeah, and you just have a parody. It's great. It's awesome. And that had a lot of fizz in it. But as with every new episode, we get a new brew. You're fucking shook,
like
dude.
it.
Your whole body shook. So with every new episode, we get a new brew. This one comes from Salt Flats Brewing Company here in Salt Lake City, and it is called Kilted Harley. It's a Scottish ale.
And it's 9%.
Cleet took a sip and literally shuddered. I think it's too strong for his personality.
No. It was too weak. Hey, Britton, will you pass me the Everclear?
That's the first Scottish ale I've had, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. I mean, it's new. But hey, we've had an Australian beer. We've had a lot of IPAs. First time Scottish ale. You gotta drink it, dude.
You gotta drink it.
I'll drink it. We're here. But this episode, guys, we are jumping back to our virtual tour of the United States as we cover every state's urban legend.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Motherfuckers.
Oh. When I was researching this, I'm like, these are going to be good places if we could actually do a video series of us going there one at a time.
Every state?
Yeah. Just to go to the stupid place, the stupid creepy place.
The stupid creepy
place? It's usually people travel to see things, go to popular cities. Not us. We're going to these hole-in-the-wall places.
Yeah, no, I mean, we can visit some pretty cool places, but it'd be fun. But this time we're covering Hawaii, Idaho, Illinois, Indiana, and Iowa.
Yep.
So here we go. Let's start alphabetically, and of course that starts with Hawaii. Have you ever been to Hawaii, Cleet?
No, I didn't have money.
It is not cheap to travel to.
No,
Hawaii.
Yeah, it is a little expensive. It's beautiful. I've seen pictures.
Oh, it's gorgeous. I loved it. I've only been there once. I would love to go back again. We went to Maui, which is the touristy island. I want to go to the big island just to check it out, but it was great.
I'm trying to guess what this is going to be because I haven't looked, but I'm assuming it has to do with Hawaiian ancestry. Is that it? Huh?
You're not far off. Yeah. So Hawaii is home to the Night Marchers.
I have heard of them.
I haven't. I hadn't heard of the Night Marchers before. So, but you're pretty close. It is like spirits or ancestors. So, Hawaii does have its fair share of ghost stories. There's a lot of people that talk of seeing spirits at sacred burial sites or abandoned buildings, etc. But their most famous story is that of the Night Walkers, or the Night Marchers. So they're Night Marchers, or Hukai Po. I apologize if I mispronounce it again. I don't speak Hawaiian. The Night Marchers are ghostly apparitions that supposedly march around the islands, seemingly from the beat of a drum. What would you do if you're just seeing a line of marching spirits, Cleet? What's your first thought that's running through your mind?
You gotta pull out your cell phone, man. No one's gonna believe you.
That's very true.
Can you imagine if I ran out? I'm like, Britain, I saw some spirits marching. You'd be like, dude, you been drinking?
You okay, Cleet? You've been drinking a lot of Scottish ale or something?
Yeah.
But no, I agree. You have to have evidence because today's day and age, with all sorts of editing and everything, seeing is believing. And I'm probably right there with you. I'd have to take a picture. Now, what the spirits are there for depend on who you ask, because all urban legends, tales start to spread and different accounts start to pop up and whatnot. Most famously, they are said to be armed spirits heading to or from battle. They carry archaic weapons and are clad in decorated cloaks and helmets. Others believe that the spirits are those of ali'i, or rulers who are being sent to places of importance to welcome new warriors to battle.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So, deceased battle warriors walking around Hawaiian Islands.
Kind of a tough crew of people. Maybe I'd be intimidated and pretend to be part of their ranks. So
No.
get killed.
That's not what you want to do. We'll talk about what you want to do, but you don't want to do that.
Okay.
You're dead if you do that. So that's that. I was going to ask you. So your first thing is to pretend to be the ranks. You're dead, dude. You're not going to survive in Hawaii. Now, they don't wander aimlessly, and some suggest that they are looking for the entrance to the new world. So they're just trying to find that next world where their spirits can relax. Others believe that they are here to replay a battle that went poorly, or even reclaim some lost land or avenge their death. Spirits typically hang around for some sort of purpose, right? They're not just there to sit either.
Strong emotion is said to latch itself on properties, and it just replays its last moments or that emotional event.
Exactly. So if a lot of these guys died in battle, or say a battle just went terribly wrong, they're there to figure out how they can fix it or what's going on, or if their death was, in vain, they're going to try and fix it. So, they're wandering around with purpose, right? Doesn't make it any less scary, but these spirits wander through very specific locations. You can tell they are the night marchers by their repeated chanting. The apparitions are seen mostly at night, but there are a few reports that have been seen during the daytime. Anytime you can kind of see these, but there are some certain points where they'll come out more often. They appear to march on designated nights that is dictated by the moon. Those who have seen the march state that the spirits hover above the ground slightly, where others report seeing footsteps where they previously marched.
Okay.
So again,
kind of a cool effect. Just floating.
Depending on who you ask, you're going to see certain different things there. Now, there are a few designated areas that marches are seen more than others. I'm going to butcher probably half of these names again. I apologize, but New Uanu Pali Lookout, Ka'awa Valley, and Kalihi Valley on Oahu are among the most visited. They strongly caution visitors about the marchers and want them to be safe. Oahu's Pali Highway runs alongside a famous battle site known as Kamehameha, and they strongly advise going for nighttime walks in the area for fear of seeing the marchers come through. Several car accidents have even been blamed on the marches near Kualoa Ranch on Oahu as well.
That sounds like a good way to get out of an accident.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. It was the ghosts.
There was a bunch of ghosts that just stormed right in front of me. They were carrying axes and swords, and they were chanting. Scared the shit out of me.
Don't raise my insurance premium.
Yeah. Imagine explaining that one to your insurance policy. So who is at fault? The fucking spirits, that's who. Did you get their insurance information? No, they're dead. Yeah, that's not going to work. Okay, Cleet, so here's the thing, right? Because you said you're going to pretend to be their ranks, but the question is, what happens if you do happen to stumble across a marching session? The most important rule is that the procession must never be interrupted. Ever, no matter what.
Well, I'm not interrupting. I'm just hopping in the back like a conga line.
Okay, but people will notice. They will notice. You're not sneaky. You don't look like a spirit. You have to learn their chant, too, so I don't think you're getting away with it. If you happen to look at the night marchers in the eyes, you or a loved one will be marked for death.
Oh.
Marked, I tell you.
All right, no eye contact. Got it.
Yeah, so you can't pretend to be in their ranks, you can't disturb them, and you cannot make eye contact, whatever happens. Supposedly, you are supposed to lie on the ground and play dead. So, just die.
What happens if you just said, hey, you guys, shut up?
They're going to look at you.
And you're dead.
And you're dead.
All right.
The slightest movement or sound could give away your presence, causing them to look in your direction. Due to the iron will of these marchers, they are said to be so focused on getting to their destination that they will not leave the path to haunt somebody, which is why they will mark you for death in your internal being.
Oh.
So even if you're like, I'm not going to die, fuck you guys, your mom might die.
Oh,
or your sister
sad.
might die. Or one of your 2,400 kids might die.
So I could be heckling them with my eyes closed and my whole family die.
You're like, your eyes are closed, you're flipping them off.
FFFU!
I think that might be a loophole, because if you don't make eye contact with them, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it says nothing about that here. So
eyes
I think
closed, two birds out.
That's a good one. I was trying to have a good rhyme with it, but I was thinking sun's out, guns out, but that doesn't work. Okay, so yeah. So, I mean, realistically, your best bet, drop down to the ground. Okay, so there are certain nights where the marchers prefer to travel, so it's not always seemingly random, but it can be. Pokane are the nights of the Hawaiian god Kane, and marches have been seen several times. Also, Po'akua, the 14th night of the new moon, has seen spirits wandering from sunset to sunrise. So those are the two nights you're most likely to see the processions come through. The nights of which marchers are present share some characteristics, including a heavy wind, thunder and lightning, a faint drum beat, mist or fog, and unusually bright torches.
Oh, man.
That sounds like a typical storm, but can you imagine looking at a torch and going, that is unusually bright. There might be some marchers about. That just seems like
maybe
a weird
it's St. Elmo's fire.
It might be.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking? Like, it's saying like they're hard to get their attention or get them to haunt you. What if you said like, hey, I got some spam over here? Dude, Hawaiians love spam.
Yeah.
They love it.
That's true. Do you love spam as well?
I fucking love spam.
I've never had spam, and I'm a little nervous.
I was actually thinking about buying the giant pack at Costco last time. I'm going to do it.
You would.
Dude, it's good. You just got to fry it in a pan. It's fucking delicious.
I know my grandpa, he gets like, he'll just pull it out of the package and he'll like cut it up raw and just put it on sandwiches with mustard.
It's already cooked. It's not raw.
But it makes me like, I can't. There's something
you gotta
about
sear the outside of it. It's so much better.
But just like it reminds me of dog food from a can, and I can't get
all
past
in your head,
it.
man.
It is, and I can't eat it. I don't think I could do it.
I'll eat anything once.
Okay, so the Tale of the Night Marchers has become popular somewhat because it did inspire a movie in 2001 called The Night Marchers.
Yeah,
super clever.
Yeah,
I'd never heard of the movie.
Neither have I.
Maybe we should find it and watch it. I don't know. It's 2001. I don't know who's in it.
I'll probably hate it, but I'll watch it. You
probably will. Okay. But if you do find yourselves on a long walk in beautiful Hawaii, and you hear a faint drum beat, you see some torches that are just unusually bright and maybe a little blinding, the best thing to do, close your eyes, pretend to be dead, and you'll be all right.
You know what we got to do?
What's that?
If for some reason we get a bunch of people in Hawaii, we need to fake this and look people in the eyes.
Yeah. How do you fake being a
You're
spirit?
going to fucking die. Well, they didn't say, some people thought they float. Some people don't.
That's true.
You put in a little bit of dirt on your face, some old clothes, and a torch.
A drum.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm sure the Hawaiian people would love mocking their dead ancestors. I think it's going to go over well.
It's pretty funny.
We'll be welcomed with open arms, and then we'll go to.
Could you imagine? I'm banned from Hawaii.
I was there for half a day. I did this march, and I can't come back ever again.
God, that's cool.
They threatened my life. I can't go to Hawaii anymore.
Court order. Can't ever go back.
Well, we better film as much as we can while we're there before we get booted out.
All right. So I guess I'll go into mine.
Yeah, so that's the Night Marcher. Okay. So good job, Hawaii.
So I will be talking about Idaho and the water babies of Massacre Rock.
Jesus Christ, the title sounds horrible.
Yeah, I will say I haven't heard of water babies before, and I thought it was kind of a silly name, but it's actually compelling, and it ties it to old stuff in our podcast.
Right, but if you... So water babies is one thing, right? But then you follow up of Massacre Rocks.
I know, right?
At Massacre Rock. Like, that just makes this thing like water babies at Massacre Rock. Nothing good is coming from this.
Exactly. I mean, it's a description of an event that happened that had residual effects, supposedly, that last to this day.
Jesus.
So, let's just jump into the legend.
Let's do it.
Native American tribe, Pocatello, Idaho. They were suffering a famine, and they knew that during the winter, they would not be able to feed everyone adequately. They were going to have to stipend what they were able to eat. And they knew to really avoid mass starvation amongst like the tribe unit that they had to do something. So the elder leaders got together. They had to make a hard decision. What they decided to do is that the mothers that had recently had a baby this year, they would have to go carry the baby to the local river and drown them. They said it was a mercy, you know.
Okay.
You'd rather have them die, I guess, painlessly. I don't know.
Rather than like a prolonged starving.
I wouldn't want to drown. It's one of my biggest fears. But it's better than a life only known of starvation. I mean, can you imagine being born and you live 2 years and all you know is hunger and it's not a life worth living, I guess. I don't know.
Well, and the thing is unfortunately there are a lot of places in the world like that even
still today
that people...
Extreme poverty.
I've been extremely fortunate to never have to wonder where a meal's coming from. And so, yeah, the idea of that is scary. And especially when you're battling a harsh winter like that. Can you imagine freezing to death, not having food, like no energy, you're always tired, and you just have no way of sustaining yourself?
I just only imagine the emotional state of the mothers. I really couldn't fathom it, really. I can't. And the more I dug into this research, this is actually common lore in the Western United States. There's stories of water babies in Utah and Provo, which is interesting.
Really?
And in Nevada and Pyramid Lake. There's basically two beliefs about water babies. Some people just think that the babies just became like tricksters. Their spirits got trapped in the lake, and they just want to mess around with people because they think it's funny. It's a way to pass time, So they create slight inconveniences.
So I'm guessing that the water babies are apparitions of babies that people are seeing in these lakes that are now teasing people?
Well, there's a reason why they get the actual baby's nickname. It's because they cry like babies. That's in some events.
Eerie as fuck.
Yeah, exactly. So in the case that they're tricksters, just imagine you're by a lake, you're walking by, and you just hear a baby crying. It's funny, in a lot of our episodes, the spirits are said to mimic babies crying to lure you to a place, right?
I mean, how can anybody resist a baby crying in the middle of
You gotta go search for it, right?
You have to.
And that's why they call them tricksters.
Especially after having a kid of my own. You can't just ignore a baby crying. It doesn't work.
Yeah. There's also stories of these tricksters where they tug on your ankles while you're in the water, or they'll pull down your trunks.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, there's a willy.
Oh, and back to the baby crying. They can change the angle of the baby cries. So, you'll start searching for the baby, and then, you'll hear it in another area. Yeah. And you're just like, where the hell is this crying come from, right? And that's the trickster idea. There's a much darker set of theories on here.
Of course there's always a darker theory.
They're actually malevolent creatures. And
malevolent water babies.
Yeah. And they actually want to kill people, and supposedly have. And the reason behind that is saying that the babies themselves went into a blind rage as they knew that they were being sacrificed for the greater good. They just transformed. They changed in either demons or other creatures, and we'll get into that. But so instead of the baby crying, it's crying to try to get you into the lake, right?
Yeah.
That'd be so weird. You're just hearing baby cries on the lake. I would probably run into the lake a little bit, and that sound travels so well.
Yeah.
On a lake. I remember one time I was fishing, and across the lake, it was maybe 400 yards. I could almost hear the conversations of these two people across the lake. It was very interesting.
Was this when we were camping and the lady was super close to us and she kept telling us to move?
No, that was... I said some things.
Yeah, you did. You got pretty feisty.
I got so mad.
Well, I mean, it's like, you don't own the lake. And we were 15, 20 feet away. And she's like, you need to move over.
No. I said, you can leave, lady.
Right. That's what you said. I couldn't remember. You're like, you can leave, lady. That was funny.
Her husband was not happy.
He didn't say anything. I think he was more embarrassed than anything because he didn't say anything. He's just like, no, we can go. We can move.
Oh, yeah.
And she was like, no, we're staying. This is my lake, goddammit.
It was all because she couldn't cast straight.
She couldn't.
Oh, whoa. Oh, whoa.
Oh, whoa.
I did not mean it that way.
I'm sure you didn't.
Okay, so back to the malevolent spirits, okay? So, in this version, baby crying, you run out to the lake, you think maybe a kid's drowning, you want to save it. Spirit grabs you by the ankles and drags your body to the center of the body of water that you're at. If it's a river, down the river. In a lake, you just get pulled down to the bottom. Others claim that the babies didn't die at all, but grew gills, fins, and tails.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't know, the idea maybe that they're so young that they could evolve quicker.
A backwards evolution type thing.
And in this version of the story, the water babies eat you when they pull you into the water.
Oh.
So I guess I'd prefer the drowning maybe versus getting eaten.
Versus drowning
underwater
and being eaten at the same time.
Yeah, that seems like a double whammy there.
A little bit.
I didn't find this in the research, but it's just some things that I've noticed patterns. So I'm really into David Paulides and his 411 stuff. And he talks about people going missing in national forests. Really interesting guy. We'll eventually do an episode on it. One compelling thing that he's found in his research is most people that disappear under mysterious circumstances that are unexplained disappear by bodies of water.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very weird connection, but there could be something there.
Or people are just dumping the bodies in there.
So, yeah, we'll get into David Paulides on another episode. Native Americans actually have a couple pieces of advice for people that don't want to, die.
If you don't want to die, I got some friendly advice for you, pal.
The first one is don't go swimming after dark where water babies are said to reside. So like Pyramid Lake or in Pocatello in Idaho where the river is. And I was just thinking, because I remember I have this childhood memory, and I knew someone that was really close to me that could have been me. I don't know. And this person would get his friends, and they would go to this outside pool in West Jordan and hop the gates and swim at night.
Okay.
And it was really fun. Not that I know.
Yeah,
but,
I think I have a friend like that too, actually.
So like it was really weird jumping off like the high diving board into dark water.
Oh God.
Like it was just creepy. And I was thinking, like, I wouldn't even want to go swim out in the lake or ocean at night. That would give me like extreme anxiety.
Yeah. Well, we had a pool growing up at my dad's house, and every now and again we turn the lights off, and for some reason it makes it, you're in a pool, there's nothing there, but it's just like that fear that you can't see in the water. It's like you get unsettled a little bit,
especially if you get pulled down by a water baby.
Yeah, no,
That'd be
thank
the
you.
worst. You imagine a tug on your ankle, dark water.
There's several reasons I don't like massive bodies of water, but did they also have a rule against the Native Americans about, like, is this where it came from, where you can't swim 30 minutes until 30 you can't swim until 30 minutes after you've eaten?
I did not hear that. No. That was my mom.
That was your mom made that rule?
Yeah.
Well, she must have told my mom, because I had that same rule growing up.
See, I was going with you, Joe. Another rule is, and this is a sad one, don't follow the sound of a baby crying by the water's edge.
Okay.
And that's like every time we do some type of cryptid, there is something about a baby crying trying to get you to follow it. Like,
because that's one of the only things that's going to get you. Like if there's like an older person shouting for help, yes. Or a kid, yes. But a baby?
Yeah.
Who can resist a baby crying?
Yeah, that's true.
You'd have to be a goddamn evil person.
Now, here's another one. If you hear giggling outside your tent, if you hear giggling outside your tent at night while camping by a lake, don't go investigate.
Yeah.
You will die.
You don't have to tell me twice. If I hear fucking giggling outside of my tent, I'm going home the next morning.
I know this is about Idaho and Pocatello, but I couldn't resist putting this in here because I just found it very interesting. All the locals, so Lake Tahoe's in Nevada, right?
Yeah.
So is Pyramid Lake.
Okay.
And they're both very deep lakes. They're very large. The locals there will tell you that they've heard of cases of people drowning in Lake Tahoe or Pyramid Lake, only to have their bodies to be switched in the lakes,
What?
right? It's like you drown Lake Tahoe, well, they find you like a week later in Pyramid Lake.
What the hell?
What people think is it's possible that the water babies, if real, and there's underground tunnels to these lakes, that they would grab you, pull you down, drown you, and bring you over to the other lake. Very interesting
Goddamn
claim.
tricksters.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's a little creepy.
Yeah, there's a lot of theories of like really deep lakes having like tunnel connections between them, which is it's interesting. I don't know why that creeps me out too.
Well, it's just the mystery of water. Again, it's just the whole water system. We know less than 10% of our ocean
So the bottom of the ocean, only like 2 or 3% of it is explored.
Yeah, that's disgusting. It's horrifying.
Yeah, some people say that we know more about the surface of the moon than the bottom of our oceans. Especially, have you seen the creatures down there in like the Marianas Trench? Man, they're freaky
nobody
as fuck.
has. Yeah, no, they're creepy, man. I feel like I'm always on Facebook and I see like strange new sea creature found. It's like some crazy goddamn squid that's 400 feet long, and it makes me sick to my
It's
stomach.
like saying
dude.
kill humanity.
Yeah.
Death to humans.
It's like proof aliens
No,
are
it's
real. They're in
really
our ocean.
Specific.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Is that the water babies?
Yeah, that's the water babies. Hang on.
The water baby.
So real quick, before we move on, I just happened to have the YouTube up while I was cleaning my room, and they got onto Joe Rogan podcast came on, right? There was a guy on there talking about how, I think it was in Ukraine, they were talking about how they had these long-range missiles armed with nuclear weapons. They're always pointed, towards the United States because it was during the Cold War.
Yeah.
And they were talking about this time that a UFO appeared above the base. And it was doing all that weird sphere stuff, combining, dancing different spheres. And it activated the nukes and put in the launch codes. And like the missile started to prep to get ready to get shot. And then the UFOs disappeared. And the guy said it was like the people on the base felt like it was a UFO saying, we know this is like your best technology, but we're not impressed.
Yeah, like, oh, this is all you got?
That's just a small tidbit I saw today. I wanted to throw it in.
That is pretty
really
interesting.
weird.
I mean, if aliens do eventually come and visit Earth, I mean, yeah, they're going to be so far ahead of us that, like, I guarantee anything they have, they're like, oh, this little thing? You're funny.
We'll be able to have, like, the nuclear codes. Like, what? What?
Yeah. What? All right. So Idaho has water babies. Hawaii has marching soldiers. All right. So let's jump into Illinois. And Clete, what would you do if I told you Illinois has a clown as an urban legend?
Why do you get the good
I don't get that. We all have good ones. There's some states that just don't.
Tell
have
me he had
much.
floppy shoes. Tell me he had floppy
Well, what
shoes.
kind of clown doesn't have floppy shoes,
God.
Clete? We're going to go back to the fall of 1991. This is the year I was born.
A little known fact, 1991 was also the fall of clowns.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
I was like, how did I miss that?
I don't even know what that means.
It was the fall of clowns. The year I was born is when this thing took shape. So children all over Chicago were scared to death to walk home alone for fear of seeing Homie the Clown.
Oh, wasn't that your creepy uncle?
I don't know. It might have been. I don't think I have an uncle in Chicago, but I don't know. So if the name Homie the Clown sounds familiar to you, I mean, does that sound familiar to you at all? Homie the Clown?
No.
Okay.
Surprisingly.
So Homie the Clown was a character played by Damon Wayans in the comedy sketch show In Living Color. So in the show, Homie the Clown would walk around and he was like an angry clown who would like smack kids with a sock. And it was like this stupid comedy sketch, right? But the clown that terrorized Chicago was much creepier. So the kid, and it was kids that were creating this legend, and they were scared all over. Like this thing spread throughout Illinois in the year 1991. So stories from children during that time stated that a man dressed up in a clown would drive around neighborhoods in a white van.
I'd imagine it would have been like a small car, but
Like
all
a
right.
clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a white van, supposedly. He would coax children into the van in some stories, where others, children would say that he would jump out and snatch you, throwing him into the back of the van and driving away. So either way, he's scouring these neighborhoods looking for kids to kidnap.
Just imagine like the little clown horn going off, like when he throws you in the van.
Yeah. Or it's like maybe it's an old ice cream truck or whatever. I don't know. But like, I wonder if this is when the whole white van thing became scary. I mean, it's always the white van. You don't get in people's cars.
The windowless van.
Yeah, it's not good. So like I said, I mean, kids were absolutely terrified, and I don't blame them. I mean, honestly, I mean, if it's a clown that's coming to kidnap children, you're going to be freaked out. But it got to the point where some kids thought it was fun. They would gather in large crowds, and they'd go walk around the neighborhoods looking for Homie the Clown. Several kids remember him carrying a sock to smack kids with, much like in the show, where most remembered the van most of all. Like, the van is the staple to this story. It's like that's where he's always seen. Now, the color of the van actually varies from story to story. Some people say it's like different shades of blue or even green, but most often it's reportedly a white van. That's where you're going to see most of the stories come through. It got to the point, literally, where kids were so terrified that if a white van were ever to drive in front of the school, kids would start to scream and lose their shit in classroom saying, "The clown's here! The clown's here!"
So funny.
And some of the schools would even pull all the children in from recess. Like, they would pull every children in, like all children in, and they'd lock the doors, and they'd even call the police saying the kids saw the clown.
And that clown had a big footprint on that
Dude, he
community.
scared so many kids in Illinois. Like, can you imagine being a teacher and you're teaching the class how some kids like, "Oh my God, the clown!" And you look out and there's just a guy driving a van, probably delivering flowers or some shit. Like, it's
I'd
not
buy
okay.
a white van to scare people.
Right? I mean, you probably just take the windows out, tint them, or maybe draw like hello on the side or something.
Do you ever feel like when they came out with a windowless van that a creep was like, "I like this"?
Yeah, probably. But, so some schools, again, would take it very seriously, where other schools just didn't do anything. They're like, yeah, nope, there's no clown. Knock it off. Like, stop being like that. The constant reports soon gained media attention, as some things usually do. I mean, again, all of Illinois is saying that kids are terrified of this goddamn clown. I mean, there's not very many clips to be found. However, on October 9th, 1991, WFLD-TV had a 30-second news clip stating that the police were treating Homie as an urban legend, and that's all that it was. So they're like, nope, it's an urban legend. We're not gonna we're not going to publicize this. Let it go. It's not real. 2 days after that, an article appeared in the paper saying police taking clown sightings seriously. So 2 days later, they're like, oh, no, it's a real threat.
Maybe Homie the Clown took offense to that.
Yeah. He's like,
oh,
really?
6 kids tonight.
Oh, really? On October 16th, Oak Park's Wednesday Journal had a headline that stated, police dismiss youth sightings of deviant clown is unfounded. So eventually, yeah, they just said, you know what, it's not real. It's because no kids were actually going missing from white vans and clowns. So nobody was abducted from a clown. So this is all just speculation.
It's a victimless crime.
It is. Not victimless, because there were some victims of it, and those were actual clowns in the time. Because can you imagine running a business as being a party clown and having the news of Homie the Clown going around? You're not going to get very much business, right?
Sad story.
So, I mean, again, people stopped talking about him eventually. This thing died down. It didn't say how long. It's just eventually it fizzled out. The only harm, like I said, was committed to other clowns. Clowns were, of course, made to bring happiness and joy, but if you would ask other clowns about Homie, they literally don't want to talk about it. Like, there was one clown that they interviewed, someone who had been a clown for 30 years, and they're like, I don't want to talk about it. It ruined my entire career at that point because no one wanted to hire me. Yeah. Everyone was so afraid of it.
I'd imagine him crying, and then they take a picture of him. That's where the crying clown came from.
Right. I mean, a lot of people would speculate this is kind of where the age of clowns turned to evil. But, I mean, you think about it. You have Pennywise from Stephen King, right? You have the Joker from the Batman. You have the real-life killer John Wayne Gacy, who dressed up as a clown to murder children. So, I mean, a lot of those contribute to the evil of the clowns. But essentially, this urban legend is just a tale that kids made up for fear of seeing a clown on television and making something that actually wasn't. So that's the story of Homie the Clown in Illinois.
Wow. Pretty spooky.
Pretty spooky. I mean, what are your thoughts on clowns?
I don't really mind them much.
I want to do an episode on clowns because I have a really good buddy of mine is absolutely fucking terrified of clowns.
I don't understand that fear. That always just makes me... I don't get it.
I mean, it's real to some people. They physically cannot function.
I can't even fathom it. Like, as a kid, hearing people are afraid of clowns, I'm like, why? They're so funny.
Tell me why. I mean, I don't know. Those people might look at you and say, why are you afraid of water? Why are you afraid of drowning? Right?
Because it has a realistic possibility of killing you.
Yeah, I mean, there very well possibly could be. But anyway, that is the story of Homie the Clown. We'll throw up some pictures of whatever on YouTube. But if you do Google Homie the Clown, you are going to get the sketches from Living in Color. And they're pretty funny. So check them out. Where are we going next, Cleet?
All right. So we're going to be talking about the 100-Step Cemetery over in Brazil, Indiana.
Brazil, Indiana? I didn't know that. Indiana had a town called Brazil.
It's very important to say Indiana after that.
Brazil, Indiana.
It's a cemetery that's in a very remote location. It's not really found on maps, but it's there. The graves themselves date back to the 1860s.
Wow.
The cemetery is basically abandoned. There's no upkeep. And so it's just kind of nature's taking control of it.
We sorry to stop you there, but we were taking a road trip once, and my wife and I and my family were doing some ghost trips, and we found a couple cemeteries that they literally just kind of let the elements take over, and they're actually really creepy. They're cool, but they're creepy looking. So, I mean, it's sad to know that they're not being kept for, but I mean, a lot of those really remote towns, like you said, they're not on maps or whatever. It just kind of dies out.
Oh yeah, and one thing about the cemetery that sticks out like a sore thumb is it has a large concrete stairway that has 100 steps. So as the legend goes, if you walk up these steps at night and count each step, you get to 100.
2,
yeah,
3.
I've seen a picture of these steps too. Like they're not like, it's not like a normal staircase. Like these steps are like 1.5 feet long. So it takes a while. So if you count all the way to 100 and get to the top, you will meet the Undertaker.
Whoa.
Well,
the
wrestler.
Oh, man.
That's
Get out of my head.
It's such a bizarre thing.
The
It just made me laugh
Undertaker.
when I found it. But anyways, supposedly he will show you a vision of how you will die and then vanish.
Huh.
Which is interesting. So like imagine like you see yourself die in a car accident. Well, just don't drive a car again. Then how can it be true?
Yeah, but is this the rule of like what's the movie Final Destination, where you can't cheat death? If Your time is here. Your time is supposed to come. If you
You'll
cheat,
probably sleepwalk into a car
Yeah,
and start
you-
driving.
you wake up like,
You
no,
wake up, fuck! You're gone.
Sleepwalk. That's called sleep driving, Cleet.
Dude, it happens on Ambien, man. That stuff's crazy.
Oh, Jesus. There's several stories of people that I know that have Ambien stories. I don't think I could take it.
These visions can be true. They might not be true. The only way you can know is you need to walk down the stairs and count every step. If you count the number of steps going down and it equals 100, the vision will come true.
Ooh.
If it comes up 99, it's false and it won't happen. I don't know why it's specifically 99, but it is. I don't know.
So you're just hoping that one step just randomly disappears or that you fucked up counting because you don't want it to be 100 both
please
ways.
Please be 99. Please be 99.
I would just be like 100, 99, 98, 98 and just count the same number twice. Nope, it's 99.
Well, imagine you have a vision of this way awesome way of going. Like you're in a hot tub.
It's always a hot tub with you.
You got a bunch of,
Women.
Is
that what you're going to say?
No.
You're like, don't dance
let's
around
say
it. I know where your mind's going, Cleet. You have a bunch of, just fucking say it, Cleet. There's no harm.
And then you walk down and it's 99 steps. You're like, fuck, this sucks. That really sucks. Apparently, the only other thing I could find on here, if you walk by the steps up the hill instead of using the steps and you get to the top on a dark night, some will push you down, I guess, and leaves a pretty bad mark on you, and they call it the Satan mark. Wait, what was it called? The mark of the devil. So
fall down the steps.
Use the stairs, I guess, is the moral of the story.
Okay.
The last thing I've heard is, this is more mundane, but if you walk up those steps, you'll count 100, but no matter what, when you walk down, if it's a dark night, it'll always equal 99, which is kind of okay.
Oh, that makes perfect sense.
So again, it would be a cool place to go look and actually perform the ritual itself, but it's not really scary.
To see, the sight of 100 steps in a cemetery would just be out of place, in my opinion, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. It's just interesting.
The only thing I hope is when I hope the first one's true and you get up there and you see the Undertaker and you just hear hard rock or death metal. To the Undertaker. And then that'd be pretty cool, I guess.
That would be all you'd need.
Yeah, I'd be
You're at the top, you're like,
wow, that was cool.
I'm going back down.
I saw a hot tub.
But there's 100 steps going down, so I might die from heavy metal.
Well, that's it.
Okay. Awesome. Best one yet.
I know.
All right, so we're going to go to Iowa, the last of the I states, and believe it or not, mine also takes place in a cemetery.
Ooh,
snap.
I hope it's a clown in a cemetery.
It's not a clown. Not steps. This is the legend of the Black Angel. So this urban legend takes us to Oakland Cemetery in Iowa. So this statue of the Black Angel stands over 9 feet tall and stands on a 4-foot pedestal. So this thing is fucking massive.
Can I just say something real quick?
Yes.
Do you see that on Home Depot? They're selling a 12-foot skeleton with light-up eyes.
Yeah. Don't talk about it because we tried to buy one. And fucking sold out.
Yeah, exactly. It's $300.
Yeah, and we were excited. We were going to get one because a 12-foot skeleton, and it's got those life eyes. Yeah, so that's a sore spot for me and my wife because we called Home Depot, and they literally said, we have a wait list of 20 people, but we're only getting 3 more. It's like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's a genius idea.
Yeah, but so next year I'm pretty sure they're going to be loading them up and we'll get one. But yeah, the manufacturers made nothing. But hey, that was good. So this thing is tall. It's massive, right? It is the statue of an angel with massive drooping wings. At first sight, people are almost always taken back by its size and color. The statue is black, which is caused by the oxidization of the bronze that it's made from. Usually when you do see an angel in a cemetery, they're super shiny, they're like white marble, their wings are spread up to the heavens, their heads are held high, but this one completely goes against that. Essentially everything this statue is not. Due to the color of the statue, those who see it believe that it is cursed and fear to go near it. Several legends and cautionary tales have spread throughout the years. First, though, I'm going to talk about the history of the statue a little bit. So, it was commissioned all the way back in 1912, and as mentioned before, it was crafted completely out of bronze. It was created by Teresa Dolezal Feldwert, who was a Czech Bohemian immigrant. In other words, this is not an American angel.
Oh.
So that's why a lot of people are like, this is completely different from normal angels you'd see. Its head is drooping down because it is said to watch over the grave of Eddie, who is Teresa's son, who happens to be buried at the root of the monument. The monument itself resembles the lower half of a tree with the top blown off. So it's pretty interesting. Like, it's not something you'd normally see. The legends surrounding the statue still scare residents in the area. One legend states that if you were to kiss the statue, you would die in the next 6 months.
Like, on the lips or anywhere?
Anywhere.
Because you gotta... I feel like it'd be a worse punishment if you got a ladder and kissed it on the lips.
I mean, literally, people are terrified of this thing.
I mean, you just gave it a big one.
Yeah. I'm assuming anytime you try and kiss it anywhere, it's just like, I don't know, it's frowned upon. You're going to die in the next 6 months. If you were to deface the statue in any way, you would also find yourself killed shortly after. Unfortunately, those who don't believe still find it funny to carve off several fingers from the statue using saws and hammers, so they continually deface it. So it's missing a lot of the fingers and some of the wing tips and stuff because people are just coming and taking them off the statue. They're not worried about dying shortly after. One of the rumors that people have around the area is that the statue gets darker every Halloween to mark those that it has killed that year. So supposedly every year it gets darker and darker. It's not because it's oxidizing more. No, it's because it's killing people.
That makes sense.
Because people are coming up and kissing it and cutting its fingers off. Whether or not you believe in the statue being haunted, it's definitely an eerie sight to behold. And if you've been there, please send us your pictures. I'd be more than happy. We'd be more than happy to post it on our YouTube channel, Facebook, all that fun stuff. But that is the story of the Black Angels. But yes, this wraps it up, guys. Thanks so much for joining us. So next time we jump into this here, we're going to be covering Kansas, Kentucky, Louisiana, Maine, and Maryland.
Oh, that's fun.
That's going to be a good one. I'm pretty excited for that. Probably be sometime next month, which, after this episode, we have reached the favorite month of the year, October.
We got to do some special episodes for that. I don't even know what we got to do.
We are definitely going to be doing a Halloween episode, but we're going to be talking about some extra spooky shit.
Should we do the Randonaut thing?
So if you haven't heard, there is this craze going around. I found it on TikTok, and some of our friends were talking about it, but it's this app called Randonaut. And it basically, triangulates a point of the Earth from low magnetic fields to high magnetic fields.
Well, what I heard is you're supposed to focus on something. You can type in a word.
An intention.
Yeah, you have an intention. The idea behind it actually comes from RGUs, which is random generating units. There's this theory that is slightly backed up by some data that if enough minds focus on something, it can affect random generators to make them less random, which is really weird.
That is weird.
But the idea is because it's doing a bunch of random numbers for a locational area, and if you focus on something, it's supposed to somehow triangulate you to a place of something that you're focusing on. So we could type in, for example, dead body, and then get the coordinates and check out the place,
Yep. So we've talked about it a couple times in our previous episodes, but Cleet and I are really wanting to introduce video to our channel. Whether it be visiting a creepy site or talking about a certain subject on camera, or even this randonauting. So this is something we want to do. And with that, we do need your help to help us spread. Again, we've hit 1,500 views. So continue to listen to us and spread us out there. We really appreciate all efforts you guys have put forward.
Like, share, and subscribe. And as always, thank you for entering the abyss.
Until next week.